So unfortunately, I think that this channel falls into the category of self-help, which is unfortunate because I think self-help is a bit of a wretched genre. I think there's a little bit too much emphasis in our society about focusing on ourselves, ruminating on ourselves, trying to improve ourselves, caring about ourselves, and probably not enough emphasis on caring about other people, doing things for other people. And on that note, in today's video, I would like to talk about something that you can do for other people. Something very easy that you can do that will help other artists. So here's my proposal, okay? The next time one of your artist friends brings up a project that they're going to do, that they have plans to do, or that they've been working on, I want you to ask them a question, okay? It's a very simple question, and just asking the question is going to be half of how you're going to help this person. And this is going to be especially valuable for artists who have been ruminating and swirling over the same topics for a while, who have been working on this project for what seems to be too long of a period of time. You're going to ask them, okay, cool. When are you getting that done? Like when am I going to be able to see this? Now, in my experience, a lot of the time when you ask this question, and you got to be prepared for this, they might react a little uncomfortably because I don't think a lot of people ask them that question. They may have never heard this question before, ever, from any project they've ever worked on outside of school. They might have never had someone be like, "Okay, I hear what you're saying and I see what you're trying to do. What's your timeline?" They've never heard that question before. They might say something like, "Oh, I don't know. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I got a lot of stuff going on. I don't really know exactly when I'm going to get it done." And then you can ask them even more abstract questions like, Are we talking like weeks here? Are we talking months? Are we talking years?" And they'll say, "Oh, well, obviously not years." And then you can kind of like sort of file it down to a very broad range. If they're not willing to give you an answer, if they give you a no answer or no timeline at all, that might be a sign that they don't know what they're doing. Actually, they have no actual plans to ever finish this project. They might not entirely know that that's what the case is, but at least now you know. But again, just kind of coming at this from the position of curiosity, you can ask them questions like, "Okay, well, if you don't know when you're going to finish the whole thing, when are you going to finish the first part of it? When can I read the first chapter of this book or play the first level of this video game? Listen to the first song on this album? Surely you can give me some segment of this big project that you can give me some sort of timeline on." And again, all you're trying to figure out here is their own deadline, their own expectation of how long it's going to take to finish a thing. Because a lot of these people, especially people who are just starting out with one big project, like this is maybe their first big project, right? A lot of these people, they're actually not making tangible progress on the project. Maybe they're indefinitely learning new skills or buying courses about it, or maybe they're just iterating over the first part of the project over and over again without getting to part two. And if you can get them to give you an answer, then that answer is going to be very valuable. Even if you don't do anything about it, even if you forget you asked that question, if they say 3 weeks and 2 weeks goes by and they got 1 week left, in the back of their head, they'll be thinking, "Oh man, I told Greg this project would be done in a week and it's not done. I'd better get something out so I can show him." And that might be the most progress they ever make in that project. Look, it's hard being an artist, okay? It's hard being a self-directed artist. It's hard being an executively dysfunctioning, self-employed artist, okay? With no one breathing down your neck for a deadline. It's a difficult position to be in. And if you're in that position, you're in a very unique spot that helps you understand the spot that other artists are in. And it also puts you in a unique spot that allows you to be able to help them. And I've always felt that if you are in a unique spot to help somebody in a way that really only you can, you almost have like a moral responsibility to, because no one else is going to do it. What's this? I appear to be on a desk that can go very high, a FlexiSpot desk. The FlexiSpot E7. Notice how high this freaking desk can go. It keeps going and going. And notice that it also holds my weight. I'm 170 pounds and it's holding my weight right now. That's because the FlexiSpot E7 Pro has a 440 pound carrying capacity. I'm a tall guy, okay? And my last desk wasn't very big. And this one is very tall. My last one, it wasn't tall enough. It was barely even a standing desk, okay? It went up to my chest. This one goes beyond my eye level. So that's pretty tall. We're talking a 25-inch to 50.6-inch adjustment range. We're talking a 15-year warranty. We're talking a 30-day money-back guarantee. And they're having a mega sale. A mega sale. You can get $50 off. $50 off by using the code on the screen now or in the description. Look how I'm slamming my fist on the desk and it's not wobbling because it's a sturdy desk. I love furniture. These artist types, they have probably talked about their idea a lot, especially if they're yappers, if they're in that stage of hell, the yapper stage of hell, where they just talk about the project indefinitely. They probably talked about their idea to normies, to people who don't have the art brainworm, to people who maybe even have the art brainworm but haven't really successfully traversed the horror of creating things. And normal people, when they hear about these kinds of projects, because they've never taken on any themselves, they, even when they mean well, and they do often mean well, they are incapable of giving any support beyond just kind of like a, oh, that sounds cool. Anyway, that kind of thing. Or good luck with that. Or worse, they go on this like abstract conversation about things to add to the project. Like that's best case scenario, right? You have these conversations with someone and and like basically the conversation, because it exists in the verbal realm, is just like reorienting the big picture of the concept, when really all you need to do is like figure out how to get the concept done. So with this question, you are essentially asking, hey, are you full of shit? Um, and that's kind of why they might react uncomfortably, because sometimes they're full of shit. And if they are full of shit, that's not even a deal breaker. Like, you can go from being full of shit to not being full of shit. But being aware that you're full of shit when you say your projects can get done in a week for the last 12 weeks, that's good to know. That's actually a good thing to know, because then maybe your next deadline will be a month and you'll miss that, but you'll be less full of shit relatively. And again, you're not forcing them to do anything, okay? You're exploring their own internal framework. If they think it's going to take 2 days, just hold them to that. If they say it's going to be done in a couple of days, just say, okay, great. In a couple of days, show that to me. Uh, you don't even have to say show it to me. You can just say, okay, I understand. You're telling me 2 days. And then if you see them a month from now, you can be like, hey, that thing's not done, I noticed. And again, just asking that question really is enough. You don't do anything else. You don't have to put them in your schedule. You don't have to keep them in mind. You can do that. You can also say, hey, if they miss a deadline or two and you're like, hey, you want to give me like $50? Is that, if that's going to help? Like, give me $50 and then I'll give you the $50 back when you meet your deadline. That's a very easy thing you can do. Just enough money to make it sting a little bit, to make it a little bit more real, to force these creative types to get outside their own head and interface with reality, to have one other person that cares enough about their art to ask them the right questions about it, to have one other person who's interested in seeing a part of the project before the project's finished, or the finished product once it's done. And you might feel weird about that. You might feel weird, oh, I don't want to ask them for $50 and then give them the $50 back. That, you're doing them a favor when you do that. That's emotional labor. That's you going into your bank app and transferring the $50 back. That's a favor. So don't feel bad about that. And also, you can ask for you can say, hey, if you miss the deadline, then you pay me the $50 or whatever. And then you can give that $50 to a charity that they hate or something. Give it to the Scientologists. And also, in tossing a menial amount of money around, you are creating this kind of trust that you're building up with this person. And so this kind of brings me to why you would want to do that. Now, the fact that you need an explanation beyond the fact that it's just a good thing to do for a friend. Maybe you're a sociopath. I don't know. But here's some logic for the sociopaths. I'll throw a bone to them. If you do this with them, then you can ask the same thing for you. If this is a helpful system for you, if you want someone checking in on your progress and making sure you're achieving actionable deadlines every week, they can do that for you. And then you're building up a rapport with this person. You consume their art. You give them feedback about their art. They do the same thing for you. It's reciprocal. The reason I do this, and the reason that I started doing this, is because I always wished that I had somebody asking me that question, someone forcing me to make something real. And that is kind of the outgrowth of the deadline system that I do on this channel with clients, which I take 5 at a time, and you can sign up for $500 American, which is actually probably undercharging for the amount of value you get. But it's such an easy thing to do that will help the person that you ask. And if it doesn't help, it's not a big deal, right? Because they're just like, oh, I don't have executive dysfunction. I know when I'm going to get this thing done. I've been consistent with the things that I've gotten done. That's fine. That person doesn't need the question. But asking the question anyway, it doesn't hurt. and it can help quite a bit. And you can act on this right now if you want. You can message someone who has been talking to you about a project and be like, "Hey, just so you know, like I'm wondering when this project can get done or a part of it. I'm excited to see it. Can you give me like a date that I can see part of the project on?" That's a very helpful thing to say. And that it's not even threatening. I know that I frame this like, are you full of shit? It kind of is, but you don't have to be aggressive about it. And if they pull back and they don't want to give you an answer, you don't have to keep prying and be annoying about it. Just ask the question once, see what happens. It's hard out here for an artist. It's impossible out here alone. And doing stuff like this, I think, is very important. And it helps you. It helps you because you get to be valuable in a community and be useful to others, which we undervalue how important that is. I made a whole video about it. I made a whole chart about it. Okay, um, we overestimate how important you are as a single node, caring about yourself and thinking about yourself and ruminating about yourself instead of spending any of that mental energy on others. Even if it's as simple as a question. And if you don't want to do it right now, just wait for the next time someone comes to you with one of these projects because it'll happen. It'll happen, and you'll teach yourself to look out for situations like that where you can ask helpful questions.